let the show begin. Hello and welcome to the Omega Review. Today's episode, Dark Phoenix, 2019. And here we go. Oh wait, was it 2019?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe 2018.
I don't know.
Let's see. So, I heard from the internet that people hated this movie. And I have always loved X-Men and liked the X-Men movies. So
Me too.
So it's kind of like, what? How can they hate Dark Phoenix? And when I watched it, I didn't see what a lot of people saw that made them hate it. My problem with it was that it felt like it should have been a third X-Men First Class. It should have been just the third one. And it tried to be a Jean Grey movie. And it didn't need to be. I think if they had just been like X-Men First Class Dark Phoenix, it would have gone over a lot better than if it was trying to stand alone as a Jean Grey movie.
Yeah, that was weird. This was the third movie, right? This is the third First Class movie.
Yes.
But since they don't put numbers on movies anymore, I get them mixed up.
Well, there was X-Men First Class Apocalypse, which was kind of a crossover between the original X-Men cast that started in 1999 with Hugh Jackman and
the good cast.
And Halle Berry.
Patrick Stewart.
And Patrick Stewart. They were in Apocalypse. And I think it was their way of like signing off on X-Men First Class being the new reboot of X-Men. And then there was this one, which wasn't really classified as X-Men First Class, except for the fact that the entire cast from First Class is in it for the majority of the movie. And they were trying to make it a Jean Grey Dark Phoenix movie, which didn't work for me.
And man, the only cast member from this new cast that I can even remember from the other two, maybe, is Quicksilver.
Yeah, we like him.
He is fantastic. They cast the right guy for it. Everyone else, I end up comparing them to their counterparts from the original movies.
Yeah.
And none of them compare to it, like, at all. They nailed it, except for Rogue, on the first three movies. And
yeah,
it's just, I don't know. You know, watching these reboots, I don't know. Like this movie, the guy who plays Beast, to me, looks like Scott Summers without his visor. So I kept getting Beast and Cyclops mixed up during the movie.
You're like, why isn't he wearing his glasses? Oh, he just turned blue and furry. Okay.
Yeah, when he was blue and furry, I recognize he's Beast. But when he's in human mode, and why he can change back and forth, I don't know. That was confusing.
Yeah, because in the original cast of X-Men, when Kelsey Grammer was Beast, he couldn't change. Well,
no, it was that drug, or that kid.
That kid.
Yeah,
could change
when
him.
his radius. Now that could have been a throwback from the early days of the comic book. Beast might have had that ability to go back and forth.
I don't think he did.
But, yeah, because he had a slow change through the comic books. He was human at first.
Yeah.
And then slowly became kind of cat-like, and then became sort of the Beast guy we all know.
Yeah, he was in the third one. Yeah, I can't remember the title of that one.
X-Men 3.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to keep track because they had 3 original X-Men.
Well, I know X-Men 2 was called X2.
And then they had the 3 Wolverine movies. And then somewhere in there they rebooted X-Men and called it First Class, which just basically turned everyone into 20-year-olds and tried to reboot it. And it doesn't work for me. I don't like the guy who plays Nightcrawler in the reboot.
Or Cyclops.
Or Cyclops.
Or Beast.
Or Beast. Storm is sort of okay, but
yeah.
she's not the caliber of Halle Berry at all.
No. Oh, they did have Dazzler.
That was cool.
If you want to see more about Dazzler, check out the history of Dazzler. We got that on the channel. That was really cool too, because I don't even think she talked. She was just singing.
Yeah.
And the camera panned over her real quick, and I was like, "Oh, it's Dazzler! We did a show on that."
It is fun to watch the X-Men movies and try and pick out the characters from the actual
background.
comic book.
They're really good at that.
Yeah.
They throw in random characters in the background, and that's cool.
Yeah. So Dazzler was doing her thing with the sparkly leaves or whatever behind her and singing her songs and stuff, so that was cool.
Yeah, she's got some pretty unique powers.
So the movie, I keep saying
Yeah, I gotta cut all those out.
I know. The movie, the canon behind Dark Phoenix is, I'd say, 80% correct.
Yeah.
Because in the original X-Men with Famke Janssen, she kind of gets her Phoenix powers out of Alkali Lake, and then she goes all crazy, which is not correct, because in the comic books, Jean and the X-Men go to space, and she encounters this weird space anomaly that's kind of sentient, and it boosts her powers, and she becomes Dark Phoenix.
And they nailed that in the cartoon. In the 90s cartoon.
Right.
It had a great origin of Phoenix. And this aligns really close to that.
Yeah, it's about 80% correct, because then the rest of it is kind of not correct. Because there's these weird aliens that kind of look like Groot, which I thought was really weird.
Yeah, those aliens are weird. They look like zombies.
Yeah, they looked like zombies, and they were hunting this anomaly, and then they found out that Jean kind of absorbed the anomaly, and so then they were hunting Jean. And that's basically the movie, was them hunting her down to get it back. And then she goes all psycho, and dark and twisty, and Magneto's in it, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He has basically broken off, and the other mutants have made this island where all the mutants are welcome that want to live on this sort of looking commune. And Jean goes...
Hey, and I like that. I like that Magneto.
Yes.
Ian McKellar?
No.
No.
That's the original.
Yeah, the original, I liked him too, but of all the new cast people they put in there, I like this guy as Magneto. He's strong.
Yeah.
And you can see the evil, but the good. You know, like what he's doing is for his people. I mean, he's doing good for his own people.
Well, it's not evil. I mean, if look at it as a mutant, you know, both... That, I think, is why people like the X-Men, because they can see both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
They can see Professor X's point of view of, we should help humanity, get them to accept us, and do the most good we can with our powers. But on the other hand, you've got Eric, who, you know, his origin stories is that he was tested on by the Nazis and his family was killed, and he says, screw humanity, they're never going to accept mutants, they're always going to want to put us in cages.
And he's right.
And he's right.
Yeah.
And you can see both sides of the coin. You can see the divide between these two, you know, masterminds of mutants.
You see, I think it's a division between a realist and
An idealist.
An idealist, because Xavier never loses hope that eventually they'll be accepted, although there's like never any sign of it. And Magneto's already, no, it'll never happen. And like what he's doing in this movie.
Yeah.
Separation, and he has nothing to do with humanity, and humanity has nothing to do with them, and he's got it even written down in the law.
Yeah.
And he tells those, the Coast Guard or whoever came out, that, hey, you know, we got a legal right to be here, and you don't.
Right. Yeah, so it was actually interesting too, because having Magneto have his own island with mutants off somewhere is true to the comic books. That's exactly
Asteroid
what
M.
happened. Asteroid M. So they didn't go into space on an asteroid, but they
Well, I think they did the island first, and then that got taken over, and he wanted to get off of Earth, and that's why they did the Asteroid M.
Didn't one of the mutants basically gather up the island and plunk it into space?
It was that, or it was Magneto. I think it was an iron core or something, and he could pilot it because he could move it in space real easy with his powers
Yeah.
of magnetism.
So it was nice seeing this, and the canon was accurate to the comic books, if you've ever read the comic books. Because he did have his island, he did make it a safe space for mutants to just come and live and garden and be a mutant, be safe from humanity, from getting your house burned down or your kids taken away and stuff. And so that's what he has been doing since the last X-Men movie.
Yeah, and that's a good work too, because there's a lot of those mutants that are just physically mutated, but they have no powers.
Yeah, they don't touch on that.
And there's, you know, and those are the people too that he takes care of at his place.
Yeah.
They'd never get a job, and, you know, people still hate them, and they can't, you know, they're the same strength as a normal human.
It seemed to me, because when they kind of seemed like they skipped a part, because everybody gets captured when they're fighting, and then they're put on this train to somewhere. And that is actually right out of the comic books, where they get rounded up and put into collars, and they're taken to this mutant holding facility. And then that's pretty much when the Sentinel storyline starts, which maybe that is the next mutant first class movie, is the Sentinels.
Yeah, that's something we've been waiting a long time to see, is the freaking Sentinels, man.
Yeah, and they only hinted on it in one of the X-Men's, the original X-Men's, I
think the second one in their holodeck.
In their holodeck.
Danger Room.
Danger Room.
And I remember that too, because on the trailers, I remember seeing Sentinels, and I was like, oh, right on. And then you go into the movie, and it's in the Danger Room. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I really liked Xavier in this movie. He's way true to form. Like,
He's a bit of a dick.
yeah. And that's how he was, though.
And he's trying to justify what he did to Jean, which is
Brainwashing.
pretty much a dick move. I mean, if you have a... And she was completely right. I mean,
Yeah.
she, in the movie, she basically is responsible for a car accident that ends up killing her mother. And Professor X comes to the hospital and basically tells her that both of her parents are dead, and takes Jean off to live at the Institute. And Jean's Dark Phoenix power basically breaks all these mental blocks that Professor X has put into her head, and she finds out that, no, her father is very much alive, and he basically...
And we're back.
And so she, with this Phoenix power, breaks down all these barriers that Professor X has put into her head, that both of her parents are dead, and just basically lobotomized her power instead of helping her grow into her power. So she feels completely and totally betrayed by Professor X.
Yeah.
And she's justified. I mean, how traumatic would it be to find out that not only did you accidentally kill your mom, and you think you're an orphan, but then to find out that you were sort of stolen away from your dad? Because who knows the mind tricks that Professor X did to her dad to get Phoenix away from him, or Jean away from him.
Now, that, her parents' backstory thing, that's something they made up for the movie. That wasn't in the original comic book or nothing, right? Because that was the first time I've ever seen that. Because I remember Jean talking, because her parents were trying to talk her into not dating Cyclops.
I don't think her parents are dead in the comic books.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of the X-Men's origin stories are them accidentally killing people they love. I mean,
You know, I'd be interested to see if this is one of those different Earths. Like, if the first X-Men set of movies was Earth 616, and maybe this one's, you know, Earth 3727.
yeah, I don't know. So she gets her mind woke up by the anomaly, and she feels betrayed, and then Professor X tries to justify to the rest of the X-Men, because they're like, what did you do to her? Why is she so pissed off, you know? And he's like, I did it for her own good, and she was young, and she needed it. And they're like, no.
And shut up.
Totally went into her mind and basically screwed it up, and now she's pissed. And now she's like, got Super Saiyan Dark Phoenix power.
She's a level 5 now.
It's over 9,000!
What?
Yeah, I thought it should have been a third-parter and not try and stand on its own and be a Jean Grey movie. If they had done it as a third-parter, it would have been, I think, better received.
Yeah.
Because the X-Men First Class, the whole cast is in it for more than half of the movie. It's not just Jean Grey going off being Dark Phoenix by herself. So it shouldn't have been a standalone movie. It should have been the third part.
I'll tell you what, though, I do like this actress as Jean Grey. I like Famke Jackson better, but I think she nails it as a young Jean Grey.
Yeah, she's pretty good. No bonus clip at the end.
Oh, that was dumb. We watched the whole credits on Fast Forward, but still.
Yeah, because you have to do that with the Marvel movies.
Yeah, nothing at the end. That was dumb.
So I don't know.
Nothing at the end of Mortal Engines either.
No, but they had like an hour of outtakes. Don't talk about another movie in another movie.
Oh, yeah. I'll fix it in post.
So I don't know if they're going to have a fourth X-Men First Class. I'm sure that they're going to ride the superhero train as long as they can.
Let's see. They end the movie with her still being Phoenix, right?
Part Phoenix.
Okay. So I wanted to see whenever Disney buys out Sony and gets the rights back, I think it would be a good mashup battle with Captain Marvel versus Phoenix. I think that'd be a killer movie.
Yeah, but who knows if they're going to have another Captain Marvel. People didn't like Captain Marvel either.
Yeah.
And the actress,
Yeah, but they don't make movies people like.
But
they
the
just
actress
make a
that
bunch of movies.
plays Captain Marvel, she doesn't even know if she wants to come back and do it.
Yeah, that's true.
People didn't either want a Captain Marvel movie or they hated it. And she's not sure if she wants to like end her career as a 3-parter Captain Marvel series and that's it. Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, yeah.
But yeah, money talks, but I mean, if you know that you're going to make movies that people are going to hate and nobody's going to ever hire you on another movie set, then I don't know, is it worth it? Or just bow out gracefully after the first one and let somebody else fall on the sword of Captain Marvel?
I'd do a movie people hate for $20 million, and then I'd do 3 more.
I don't think she got $20 million.
The battling scenes were good.
Not really. Magneto has like the worst.
Well, he did pretty good in the train car.
Magneto was fine, but he had the guy with the dreadlock whip arms that was like. He has like the worst sidekicks in movies.
Yeah, what's up with that? Magneto's got access to hundreds of different mutants, and he always picks the dumbest ones.
Yeah, the ones that you've never seen have the weirdest, most not powers. Yeah, he's got this black guy with long dreads that apparently are prehensile, so they're tentacles. He's got basically tentacle hair.
Mm-hmm. That was dumb.
And it looks really weird. Like, I don't know.
Didn't he have the Blob in one of the movies?
Yeah, he had the Blob in one of the movies.
And the stupid frog guy?
He had Sabretooth and...
Well, Sabretooth was good.
Yeah, and... Oh, what was the frog guy's name?
Froggy.
Toad. His name was Toad, yeah. Trode. And they had the Blob, but I don't think he was part of Magneto's crew. And then he had...
And they had Juggernaut one time, but he sucked.
Yeah, he was in the third one.
Yeah, they messed that up. I mean, the original movies were good, but they did mess things up.
Big time.
Oh, Mystique.
Yeah.
Why was Mystique the head of the X-Men? That was stupid.
I don't know.
If anyone made it this far through the video, and you know the comic books, was Mystique ever the leader of the X-Men, or even part of the X-Men?
In First Class she is.
I don't remember anything about that, and that was stupid.
The original 3 X-Men, Mystique was with Magneto. She was totally by his side.
She's always been with Magneto.
Because she...
The White Queen was leader of the X-Men for a while in the comics.
Yeah.
But that's a totally different character.
That was... she was the headmistress of one of her schools until it got burned out.
Yeah.
And she ended up with Xavier, not like with him, but like living at the school and teaching.
And then I think Scott died or something, and she took over, and then Scott came back to life, and then he took it back. I don't know.
The X-Men have a habit of dying and coming back, so who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think Mystique was ever an X-Men.
Yeah, I'd venture to say that too.
I think Professor X tried, but
well,
she...
Yeah.
I mean, she can transform into any person she wants to be, but her feeling is she shouldn't have to. And so she has the same thought process as Magneto, where she wants to walk around in her skin.
And our ratings are...
2.
I'm going to give it a 2 as well. I would probably watch it again, but maybe just one more time.
I would probably watch it after I watched all the other X-Men to find out what was going on.
Yeah. You guys have a great day. Thank you to the Patreons. Thank you to this fantastic background from Royalty Free Tube. And have a great weekend or weekday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.